Good afternoon. We are Blue Moon Studio, and we have a really fun, creative UV resin craft project for you to make along with us today, or watch now and make later. And it's just in time for Valentine's or Galentine's Day. If this is your first class with us, or you have missed any of our earlier classes, they are all available on Michael's website, where you can watch the videos of past projects, learn or brush up on the basics, take advantage of our shared tips and tricks, and continue to perfect your skills in using UV resin to make your own unique pieces. Everything you need for today's project is available at Michael's stores nationwide, as well as on the Michael's website. There is no specific handout for today's project, but I will post a handout in the chat function on how to use molds, since that is what we will be using today. Stephanie Minor, Blue Moon's creative director and awesome UV resin crafter, will be your instructor. And as always, is so excited to share today's project with you. Rosa Vergaro, who is such a creative force for us here at Blue Moon, and although she is off camera, she will be busy assisting Stephanie with what she needs so you can get the most out of today's class. And I am Anne-Marie Menlo, and I will be answering your questions via the chat function. We hope you can craft along with us today, but if not, enjoy the class and pick up your own UV resin craft materials at Michael's stores nationwide or online, so you too can enjoy the jewelry craft as much as we do. The class is being recorded and will be posted within a day or two to the Michael's website, so you can watch and refer to it at your leisure. So without further ado, here's Stephanie.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We are here to make some very cool jewelry together, and it's all using UV resin. UV resin is such a unique new crafting material. What I'm going to do is a little demo for you here and just show you what the material is, talk to you a little bit about it. Then we're going to switch views so we can get you very close down on the action and you can see exactly how to make beautiful earrings with this. So UV resin, it comes in a bottle like this and it pours out of the bottle completely ready to use. There's no mixing, there's no measuring. Let me bring the camera down just a little bit so you can see. I have the UV resin. I have a silicone mat. This is part of the UV resin product available at Michael's. I'm just going to pour a little dot here on my silicone mat. And this is a UV light, also sold at Michael's. And if I hit the button, you can see the lights come on. And this is how this product cures via UV light. It does not cure in the air. It does not cure if you just leave it out on a countertop somewhere. It will only cure under UV light. And the other cool thing about it is UV light obviously comes from sunlight. So this cures in sunlight as well. So cure times on this is about 1 to 4 minutes, let's say, depending on what you put inside the resin. But what I'm going to show you is how quickly it works. So this light has been on there for about, I don't know, 15, 20 seconds. Let me just show you that what was liquid a second ago is now hardened plastic. So you can see how quickly this starts to work and how much control you have over the process because it's not going to harden up until you want it to. So that's the first demonstration. I want to just show you what it is. The second thing I want to show you, this is a glass of water, is that it only cures in UV light. So even in the absence, this is just a wood stick, even in the absence of oxygen, it still cures. So I'm going to dunk this in water, put some UV light on it, and you'll see that it starts to cure. As I mentioned, the cure time is 1 to 4 minutes. Each time you hit this button, this light runs for 1 minute. And then if you hit it again, or I just turned it off, let's turn it back on again. And some words of safety procedures here. Okay, so you'll notice that what I'm doing, even though there's no oxygen, it's curing in the UV light. So that means You don't want to work in front of an open window or where windows coming in a brightly lit room, because it will start to cure even as you're working with it. You also want to use gloves, use a mask, use a well-ventilated area, especially if you have any type of sensitivity to other types of resins. Okay, so this has been in there, I think, for less than a minute, and I just want to show you that that's hardened plastic on there now. Okay. All right, so that's what this material is. Let's switch cameras, and I'm going to show you how to make beautiful jewelry with it. Hi guys, can you hear me?
We can.
All right, awesome. So these are the earrings we're making today. How cute are these? All different types of hearts. So we're going to start off with these. These are just simple basics, just to show you the basics of working with this product. Then we're going to do a little more of an ombre glitter. And then we're going to work our way up to these super cute lollipop earrings. All right, so let me just bring this camera up a little bit. Ooh, there we go. And move this out of the way. So over here in my work surface, again, I have a silicone mat. Resin does not stick to silicone, so it is the perfect working surface. And then I have my lamp over here. This lamp is a 9-watt UV lamp, and it plugs into a USB, so that would plug into a laptop, a wall charger, like what you would use for your cell phone, for example. And this is my setup. I also have some wood sticks here. I'll need that for mixing. I have a silicone cup. I actually have 2 silicone cups since we're going to be mixing a couple different colors. Again, all these materials are available on michaels.com and in stores. Okay, so what we are working with today to make these, and I'm going to put these earrings here just so you can see them. These are the first ones we're going to do. So everything we are making today is going to be made with a silicone mold. There's really 2 ways of working with UV resin. It's silicone molds or bezels. So let me show you a bezel. Bezels are just frames for you to put jewelry in. So this is a bezel. So basically you're either going to pour resin in here or pour resin into a silicone mold like this. And there are a lot of different silicone molds available in stores. And you'll see how clear it is. Like you can see these earrings through it. It's very clear. It's a high quality silicone. And that becomes important because you're curing with light. So you need to make sure the light can reach everything. Okay, so these earrings, both of them, we have studs here. Let me show you the back of one. It's a stud. And then here's a more of a dangle style earring. Those were both made with this mold and this shape in the mold. Okay, so you can see, let me get a wood stick here. Each of these shapes, these are like faceted gem shapes. Each of these shapes has this little tab here, this little post. And that is so your molded piece can have a hole in it so that you can connect it to something. So that becomes really important. Here, for example, you can see the hole. And that's how we connect the jump ring and connect our earring findings onto it. All right, so let me show you how to make these. I'm going to start with a silicone cup. And I add my resin to it straight out of the bottle. All right, and you just kind of eyeball how much you think you need. To color this resin red, I'm just using red glitter. This is regular old glitter also from Michaels, obviously available in a lot of different types. There's the chunky glitters. This is like an extra fine glitter. And I'm just gonna pour this in. And the question I get asked is how much, oops, I spelled. I get asked how much glitter. And the answer is however much you want. The more glitter you put, the more opaque it will become, the more time you will need to cure it, because all these little flakes of glitter are kind of blocking the light. So just keep that in mind for cure times. The darker you get, the more stuff you put in it, you're going to need to cure it just a little more. And I'm going to add some more glitter because I want it to be really kind of opaque. All right, mixing that up. And we're ready to put this in the mold. Now I also keep a paper towel over here on the side, and I just, like my wood stick that came out of there, I just wipe it on the paper towel. All right, so here's our mold. Let me move this to the side and cover my spill. And here's our mold. And I'm just gonna pour it into this shape. These silicone cups have a spout on them, so you can get pretty specific with where you want that resin to go. And so I'm just pouring it right in there, trying to kind of judge when to cut that flow off. And you fill it all the way to the top. I'm gonna bring this a little bit closer. I'm trying to kind of turn it so you can see, but it's all the way up to the top. It's level with the surface of the mold. And there is nothing else that we need to do. The only thing I might want to do is kind of put a stick in there and just, I don't know, make sure that the resin got all the way around this little peg, because we don't want any like weird air bubbles that are caught in there. Okay, and that's it. We're ready to cure. So you can already see, if you've worked with other kinds of resin, you can already see how much faster this is. There's no mixing or measuring. There's not a lot of air bubbles. So I put that under the lamp, and we're going to cure this for at least 2 minutes. So while that's curing, I'm going to take a question. Do we have any questions that have come in on the chat?
Sure, Steph. Silicone mat and tape. Do you want to talk
Yes.
about when you use which?
Sure.
Thanks.
Sure. So this is another item. This is tape. Let me find the hardest part of the craft is finding the end of the tape, I'll tell you. Where is it? Oh, okay, here it is. So you can see this is like a clear tape. This is a polyester tape. It's a little bit different than like regular packing tape that you would find like for mailing things. And it's a little thicker than packing tape. It also has a little less adhesive on it. It's not quite as sticky. The only thing you need to use this tape for UV resin crafting, or it's probably the most important thing you need to use it for, I'm cutting a piece of it, is for bezels. So when I started, I said there's really two most common ways of working with UV resin. It's molds or it's bezels. Thank you, Jency Wilson. So if I were using this bezel, I would have to stick it onto the sticky side. Well, that didn't work well. Stick it onto the sticky side of my tape. Make sure that's really stuck. And then I would pour the resin in there. So that's how you work with these open back bezels. But today we're working with molds. Heather has a question here. How is UV resin different than other resin? Well, it's different in a lot of ways. And the main way that you already mentioned is how it cures. Two-part resins like AB resins where you have to mix, that cures over time, just left out. And that takes maybe 24 hours to cure. So this works a lot better for instant. If you're like me, you don't have patience to wait 24 hours to see what you've made. This is great for this sort of instant gratification. The other way it's different is this is really better for small, very detailed things, more so than a two-part resin. The other way it's different is less air bubbles, it's non-yellowing. It's got a lot of attributes that make it perfect for jewelry making specifically, since jewelry components are so small. All right, so now this has gone for 2 minutes. I hit it one more time to let it go for another minute. Now I can tell you, like, this is already hardened. It's definitely hardened on top. I'm pushing this wood stick into there. In fact, I can flip it over and you can see like it's not going anywhere. You will see some people doing resin where they flip the mold over and then put it back under the light to try to get, I don't know, kind of the bottom. That is helpful when you're dealing with more opaque colors. Okay, so let's turn this off. Let's see what we got here. So we demold it just by kind of flexing the mold. This is very flexible, and just by pulling it out and see what we got. And I want to show you exactly what it looks like. I'm going to try to hold it on the edge here because I want you to see just this little bit of extra on that one edge. And the way I deal with that, honestly, I just take my thumbnail and kind of just scrape that off. You could get in there with a nail file if it's, you know, really bothering you, but that just scraped it off fine for me. Okay, so here's our charm, which will be turned into this. All right, so I'm gonna show you how to do those jewelry connections. But in the meantime, I'm gonna cure another red heart. So filling it up. Ooh, that one I overfilled. But I'm glad I did it because I'll show you what to do if you overfill. So see, I got a little too much in there. Let's see, let's get you up on there. So if I overfill, I really just go in with my wood stick and scrape it out. Just like kind of scoop it out, have patience. Do not worry if you get it a little messy. I'll also show you how to deal with that. So I'm just like scooping this out and kind of putting it back in the cup. And now before I cure it, I can tidy up the edges a little bit, clean that up. All right. And then I always like to kind of move this little peg to make sure I don't have any, you know, spaces where the resin hasn't flowed to yet. And now it looks like I got a little overzealous from scraping it out, and I'm going to put a little dot more in there. Okay. All right. So let's get that curing. All right. So that's curing off here to the side while we work on this. Okay. So to do this, we need 3 pieces. 2 of them are jump rings. Here's one. Here's 2. We have a couple different sizes. And then we have our ear hook. Okay. Now you're going to need some pliers. These are just some basic jewelry pliers. They can be flat nose, like needle nose pliers. This is a round nose plier. Either one will work for this. And I want to open the jump ring. And so jump rings are just a little circle of metal there. And you can kind of see in that view that up here at the top, there's a little break in it. And so I want to find that break and situate my pliers around it. Actually, yeah, I'm going to switch pliers to a non-rounded. So I find that break, situate my pliers, and twist. See how I've opened that? Okay, so now that that's open, I can use that to go through the charm I've made. Just string it right through the hole. Now I can tell that I didn't open this enough because it's not sliding nicely in there. I'm sorry, this seems to be out of focus. I'm going to try to fix that, guys. Don't worry. Let me see. Sorry, I hope I'm not giving you like seasickness. Okay. So here I've opened that jump ring. Let's try it again. Let's put it through there. Just opened it more. I want to slide it through. And this might be the wrong size of jump ring. Let's try a bigger size. Here we have a bigger size. All right, let's open it up in the same way. See, I just bent that open. There, that goes on there easily. And now we close the jump ring in the opposite motion that we opened it. So we close it this way. And then we have now an attachment point to attach our earring on. And actually, I should have done that before I closed the jump ring. We're having jump ring issues today. Let's just put this on there, directly on there. That way we only have to attach one thing. So when you use a larger jump ring, you only have to use one of them. Okay, so that's how you make a dangle. Now this one that we have cooking, we like to say cooking instead of curing. It's not cooking, it's actually curing. What's happening under here is a chemical reaction is taking place, turning the liquid into plastic. And so when that happens, you can get a little bit of heat from it. So like when I touch this mold, it's just slightly warm. All right, so now that's gone for 3 times. Let's see what we have. And pop it out. So here we have our second heart. You can see a little bit of flash on there, which I'm just going to take my finger and just kind of scrape that off. So now I've shown you how to make the dangle heart. Now what if instead I want to make a stud earring? I need a stud earring. Here we go. So these findings are sold at Michael's. This is a little stud, and it has the backs too. So it has this head on it that we can glue to the back of this. But you're saying, well, Stephanie, that has a giant hole in it. And so this is how we're going to deal with that hole. First, I'm going to slide my silicone over here. And I'm just going to plug that hole up with extra red glitter from my resin cup. So I'm just going to get a tiny bit on there and try to drop it right in that hole. And maybe one more little drop. There we go. Try to even it out a little bit. You do not have to be perfect with this. It's pretty forgiving, but you can see now that that hole is gone, and I want to cure that to turn that into hard plastic. Okay, so after the cure, I'm going to attach the earring stud finding to it. You can kind of see in this side view, the way I attach it is just by using the resin as glue. If this UV resin by itself is a wonderful adhesive to use on a lot of different projects. My husband is a scale modeler. He loves to use UV resin as one of his primary adhesives to attach different things together. Okay. So while that is curing, do we have any questions? I will encourage you to use the chat function. We love to hear from our customers. We love to be able to have this interaction to answer your questions live. So no question is too big or too small. Just go ahead and chat and we will try to answer your questions.
Stephanie, how about cleanup? Maybe when you have some leftover resin?
Sure. So the easiest way to clean up this resin is just to cure it. Like I would probably, this much resin left in the cup, I would probably make something else with that. But with just a little bit left over in the cup, the easiest way is just cure it under the light and it will pop out of the silicone very easily. If there's still glitter residue, which, you know, any glitter project, you're going to have glitter residue. You can use a piece of tape and kind of dab at it like taking lint off of clothing. And that works well for picking up old glitter. All right, so this has gone for about a minute and a half. I will turn this off. And here's our heart. We've covered up the hole. We don't have a hole in our heart, guys. Okay, where did my finding go? All right, well, let's get another one. I have a whole bag of them. Okay, so here's my finding. Now to attach it, I'm just going to take a little drop of resin directly on my silicone mat. And then I have my finding. I'm just going to kind of dip into it. Stick it on where I want it. Oh, and make sure it doesn't slide off. Okay. So now I'm going to try to balance this while I get my light and cure it. This creates a very, very strong bond. Resin to resin. It bonds to porous and non-porous surfaces. So we're talking metal, plastic, glass, wood. It will bond to all of those surfaces. Silicone, it will not. So that's why we use that for our work surface. Amara asks, can you use the glue for other things? Absolutely. It makes a wonderful adhesive. Like you can see here, I'm gluing metal to plastic, and that's always kind of a difficult thing to glue. You need like a very heavy duty jewelry glue to do that. And this takes the place of that. It works wonderfully to bond these two materials together. So you can see, I'm just kind of moving it around. I just want to make sure that all the edges of that liquid resin get a little ray of UV light. All right, so that went for a minute, and that is permanently attached there. And this is ready to wear. Okay, so those were our first projects, just some simple heart earrings. Now we're gonna up the ante just a little bit and show you another technique. So I just switched out my silicone mat because, well, glitter. The next earrings we're gonna be making are these. And those are made with this mold. So this mold has a leaf shape, this kind of earring shape. It has a beautiful, realistic 3D rose, but we are going to be using this puffy heart. Okay, so I have my puffy heart, and you can see this is 2 different colors. So I'm going to mix 2 different colors of resin. So just again, straight out of the bottle. And I'm just kind of eyeballing what I think I'll need. Put a little more in that one. Okay, so here I'm going to show you another product called tints. So there are a lot of ways to colorize this resin, and one of is our resin tints. So this is also sold at Michael's. It's sold in a package of 3 tints together. And so this is the package that we're going to be using today. It has white, black, and red in it. Okay. And so here is the bottle of red. These are very concentrated. So for the red, I'm actually only going to add 1 drop. It's more like a light pink. So 1 drop, and then because I want to make it pink, I'm going to add 1 drop of the white. And then we'll mix this up and see what color we got, and we can kind of go from there. We can add more tint if we want. See, I'm mixing that together. It's making kind of just like a milky pink. And let's add some glitter. What the heck? We love glitter. Here I have, this is like an AB iridescent white glitter. Works in so many different projects. And I'm just going to kind of, maybe I should scoop. Let's scoop it in there. And then I'm also going to add glitter just to the white, the clear. So this lovely thing of glitter in this little plastic container, this is part of our mega filler pack. Okay, this is like such an awesome thing to pick up if you want to try all different things to put down in this resin. So here we have like flaky confetti type things. Here's our glitter that we just used, ultra fine glitter. Then we have real dried flowers in here in 4 different colors, and polymer clay flowers, polymer clay little fruits. Look how cute. Metal charms, pearls. Leah asked, can you use real sand? Absolutely, you can use real sand. But this is a great thing to pick up if you want to kind of experiment with different things to put down inside the resin. All right, so back to what we have here. So here's our pink resin. I added glitter to it. Let's mix that up. And I'm going to wipe my stick in between. I have this paper towel off to the side. And let me mix this up too. All right. So to get this kind of ombre two-tone effect, I'm actually going to pour both of these colors at the same time. And so if I pour them in this direction from the heart, you'll have a heart that's kind of split down the middle. If I pour them this direction, you'll have a heart that's split sideways like that across the equator. And so that's what we're going to do. I'm just going to pour these both at the same time. Kind of encouraging it to go out by squeezing the silicone, making it more of a spout. And I think that's about good. If you don't mix enough resin, it's not a big deal because you can just fill more clear resin straight out of the bottle in there. So here's how you get that two-tone. What I like to do is kind of go in with a stick and just tease it a little bit. Get it just to that perfect transition. Okay, so you get more of like an ombre. And then always, here's our little peg that's going to create the hole. I just always like to make sure I got around that, and we're ready to cure. Okay. All right, so we're going to cure that for a couple minutes. Once this comes out, we are going to add a jump ring and an ear wire, just like we did last time. Also, while this is curing, let me see here. I want to do a little bit of a show and tell while this is curing of the different molds that we have available, because we have a ton of awesome molds for you to play with. We have this one, which has just various shapes. We've got a unicorn, an angel wing, cat, moon star. This is fun. We have, this is an exclusive mold. You will only find this at Michael's, and it is our earring mold. So you have sort of earring toppers, bars, all different shapes that are very common in earrings. And here's another heart. I'll show you. We have a part of an earring over here that was using that heart shape. We just linked them together, so that heart shape came out of there. We also have earring hoop molds. So this is an earring hoop. I'm going to show you an earring that came out of this mold. So this has real dried flowers in it and some greenery. And this mold comes with the metal you need, all in one purchase. You can make 2 different sizes of hoops. All right. So we also have bracelets. So this is a bangle mold. And I'll show you some bangles that we made with it. The fun part of resin is putting different stuff in there. So let me show you what we did. We used letter beads to create little phrases on this one. We used sprinkles, candy sprinkles in this one. This one we used seed beads, just sprinkled them into the mold with clear resin. And here, this is made with dried flowers.
Stephanie, question that I don't know the answer to.
Sure.
What size jump ring were you using or are you using for the earrings?
For this one, you need quite a large jump ring. You can see it from the side there. This is probably a 10 mm size. The jump rings are sold at Michael's in a couple different ways. This is what the package looks like when you go into the jewelry making department. This one happens to have 7 mm jump rings. This is another package of jump rings that they sell. They sell them in a lot of different sizes and gauges. Gauges means how thick it is. You can see this one's a lot thinner than this one. And it's really just up to you what your personal preference is for what you want to use. You can see that this comes with multiple sizes.
Thank you.
Okay, so that one went for 1 minute. I'm going to turn the light on again. I want to at least let it go for 2 minutes because I added tints and glitter to it. So I want to make sure that it can cure all the way. And I'll just tap that you can already, I don't know if you can hear that, but you can see that it's already hardened, at least on top. Okay, so sorry, more show and tell. Ooh. We also have alphabet for you to make. This is great for personalized jewelry, for hair barrettes, to put your name. Can you use seashells? This is a question from Linda. Absolutely. We love using, doing different kind of ocean themed things. And if I have time at the end, I'll show you some different ocean made ups we've made. One more thing I want to show you is our ring mold. Now this one is, we use this ring, so it got a little bit stained here. We use this over and over. Let me show you a fresh one. Here we go. Here's our ring mold. This has ring sizes 4 through 9. So a lot of common ring sizes in there. I'll show you one of the rings that we made. Here's like an example. This is just made with gold glitter. But that's what it makes. I saw a question come up a little bit ago. Is it fully round? The bangles and the hoops. The bangle, this is a full round bangle. You can see as I turn it around that it's full round, meaning a cross section of this is a circle, okay? The hoops are not full round. Here's some different hoops here. They are square edge. So you can see it from this. It's a square edge hoop. All right. Okay, so this has gone for a couple minutes. I am actually going to set that to the side because I want to get started on these lollipop earrings. This is the lollipop earring that we're going to make, and actually it's made with the same heart shape. Let me show you the back of it. All right, and this is made with little candy sprinkles. So I just got these at the grocery store, little candy sprinkles. All right, so do we have another one of this? Yes, we do. It's right here. All right, so here's another heart mold. So I am going to, I want to be careful because I have this light on. The UV light is on and it's kind of shining over here. So if I start just pouring this in here, the light may start curing it before I want it to. So I just want to be careful about that. Let's fill this up with clear resin. And I'm filling it, I mean, pretty much to the top here. And you can see, if you've used other resins, bubbling is a big problem. Air bubbles getting stuck in there. It already disappeared. There was one air bubble. I don't know if you guys caught it, but there was one air bubble and I was going to show you how to get rid of it, but it actually popped on its own. And that is what happens with this resin. The air bubbles pop on their own. If they don't, you can kind of stab at it with a toothpick or this pointed stick and just pop the air bubble. But you can see that is crystal clear. There are not a lot of air bubbles. All right, so let's get our candy sprinkles. And let's see, I think I'm gonna put some in the lid, try to control it a little bit better that way. You can put as many or as little of these sprinkles as you want. And I'm just kind of sprinkling them around. And then I'm gonna go in with my stick and I wanna place these at the right depth and placement on the surface. So I want them to be at different depths. So when you see this earring from the side, not all of these balls are going to be on the same level. All right, and so I can play around with this for as much as I want. I can leave this and come back to it tomorrow or next week. It is still going to be liquid. All right, so that looks good. Let's cure this. So I'm going to turn this around and I'm going to try to do a double cure. So let me turn the lamp this way. We're going to cure both of them. Okay, so while that's curing, let's talk about the next steps. So we have a couple other components here. We have a ribbon and we have this stick, which is actually a toothpick. There's lots of different kinds of toothpicks out there, but I'm going to show you the 3 most common ones. So we have just a regular wood toothpick. We have the fancy wood toothpicks that have like that little kind of carving in it. And then we have a plastic toothpick. Here. These are like those plastic toothpicks. Here's a picture of the. So to make ours, we actually use this plastic one, but you can use wood as well. You can paint the wood white or just leave it the natural wood color. We're going to use this plastic one. And to do that, we're going to snip off this weird part that is like a brush. I just cut that off with scissors. And we're going to cut off the back of it too, a little bit. Maybe here. Okay, so this is going to be the stick of our lollipop. Let me hit the button on my lamp again. So this is prepped and ready to go. Then we want to take some ribbon. So you can use satin ribbon. This is like a grosgrain ribbon, and tie a bow. Now I already have a bow tied for me, which makes it very handy, but here's like a grosgrain ribbon. Here's just a satin ribbon. This is 1/8 of an inch. This is 3/8 of an inch. Or maybe this is a 1/4 inch. It looks more like a 1/4 inch. Yeah, it's a 1/4 inch ribbon. All right, so I have my ribbon prepped. And so now I just need my lollipop. Let me put this here so we can see it. And because this lollipop is clear, I don't need to cure it quite as long. This has been going for about, I don't know, a minute, but I'm going to let it go just a little bit longer. If you pop it out of the mold and it's a little bit sticky, I'm going to show you an example of one that's sticky. Here we go. Here we go. See, when I touch it, it kind of sticks to me a little bit. That's from surface oxidation, and that's a very common thing with UV resin. The way I've found to deal with that is just put it outside for a minute or two, and the light from the sun gives it this deep cure that, you know, the UV rays that are coming from the sun are much stronger than anything you're going to get in a lamp. So it's actually one of my favorite ways of curing is in the sunlight. Okay, so I think that this is done. I'm just kind of watching the time because I want to make sure we get through the project. This is slightly warm because, as I said, a chemical reaction has taken place in there, and one of the things that happens is it heats up just slightly, and so I can just pop it right out. Now this was in there for, I don't know, what was it, about 2 minutes. So it has slight, I can almost, just slight tackiness on there. But if I put this outside for just 2-3 minutes, maybe, that would be gone. All right, so let's add the stick. Let me show you the back of this one. So we actually hot glued, you can see, we hot glued this plastic stick on there. And it's just because this type of plastic doesn't stick well with UV resin. So we had to bring in the big guns and bring out our hot glue gun for this. If you use a wood stick, it will stay better. But I'm going to try to show you what happens if we just use the UV resin as an adhesive. All right, so let me put a little drop of this on the back. Put that on, and let's cure it. So I'm just going to hold this in place. And as soon as it grabs, I can let go of it. All right, any questions from the group?
Yeah, Stephanie, can you speak to using other molds or different types of molds?
Sure.
Thank you.
Sure, there are a lot of silicone molds out there. This is an example of a silicone mold. This is, I think, a candy mold. And you'll see it's opaque. You do not do not use UV resin with this. It will not work. It will get all funky and warped. It just doesn't cure. You need a clear silicone mold to cure. Here's another silicone mold that's out there, and you can see like the floppiness of it. Let's put it next to one of ours. See how clear this is? This will work infinitely better for making jewelry. This will work, you just won't get as reliable results from it because it's so floppy and because it's cloudy. So you want, when you're looking for silicone molds, clarity is very important.
Thanks.
All right, so that went for a minute. You can see I can pick it up by that and turn it around. And so I want to add the ribbon to the front. And I'm also going to use a dot of UV resin to add that. A little dot. And I'm actually going to place this. Actually, this side is prettier. I'm going to place this directly on there like this. And kind of try to surround it with the UV resin and then bring the light in to lock it in place. If we have anyone crafting along with us, or if you decide to go out and try your hand at this awesome craft, we want to see your creations. We want to see what you're making. So let me show you. Let me let that keep curing. There you go. Post your creations online, Instagram, Facebook, and make sure you use hashtag UV Resin Craft. I check that hashtag. I would love to see what you're making. Also the hashtag make it with Michaels for anything that you make with products that you buy at Michaels. You can also connect with me on Instagram at Stephanie Menor Creates. Okay, so this is going. When that is done, all we have to do is attach a jump ring and our earring finding. All right, so that went for 1 minute. And here we go. Oh, darn it, I got some UV resin on this part of it. Oh, well. Okay, but you can see how the UV resin affects fabric. It just can make it, it darkens the fabric slightly. You can see it's a little darker where I dipped that tail into the liquid resin. All right, so we are ready to get our jump rings. So here's our large jump ring. I think this is about a 8 mm or a 10 mm size. And we find the break in the jump ring. We use tools to open it, twist it open. So this is an open jump ring. I'm going to open this really wide because this is a wide piece. And then very carefully slide this through. Yeah, this jump ring is a little bit small for this one. So when I have a larger jump ring, what I will do is put it through there. I'm sorry, we just have the wrong size. But if you work with it, you can see how tightly that jump ring fits on there. All right, and then that's how you add the earrings. This is not going through there. So we are going to have to just imagine adding that jump ring on there. We do not have any more of the correct size. It doesn't look like we've used them. All right, so as we wrap it up, we're going to do a little more of a show and tell here. Oh, here's another. Oh, we got one. We got a jump ring. Here we go. So slightly larger. And I just kind of thread that through. And it takes a little bit of patience because it's such a wide area, but you just kind of thread it through. See, it's on there, and then we close the jump ring. Oops. Now I did kind of stretch this jump ring out of place a little bit, but before I close it completely, I'm going to add my, and then I close it. And here's our earring. So the only difference between this one and this one is that on this one, there's an extra jump ring in the middle. And that just depends on how you want to wear it. When you add another jump ring, it allows this to sit perpendicular to your ear, where this one will sit parallel to your ear. Okay. And that's how you make these lollipop earrings. I love this. This is one of my favorite projects that we've done. But if you have a question, let me know. Anne-Marie, you just jump in if there's been any questions. I'm going to use the rest of the time to show you some cool stuff, some jewelry that we've made. I've already shown you, actually, I show these almost every class because these are my favorite. These are bar earrings, but these will give you a good idea of the different things that you can put inside the resin. That's where your creativity really comes into play. We took just a piece of chain, that is link chain, and put it inside the resin. Here we took some faceted glass beads and lined them up in the mold. Here we took some letter beads. This was from our Christmas class. Some letter beads and lined that up in the mold. All of these are made with this mold. This is the bar shape. Here we took some seed beads and kind of made little stripes of different colors. Here we used our sprinkles again. These are little glass micro beads in there, like glass bullion. I saw a question, where do you get the dried flowers? We sell a full line of dried flowers at Michael's. Let me just show you some of them. So we have these kind of colorized packs where you get several different flowers of the same color plus greenery. That greenery really comes into play when you can mix the greenery with glitter. Here we've mixed some greenery with some glitter flakes in this hoop earring. We also have smaller packages of, these are like plum blossom flowers, but these are all dried or preserved and they're completely ready to go into the resin. All right, seems like you guys like flowers. Let me show you some pretty flower stuff. Here's another, this was like part of a hoop earring that we made. What other flowers do we have here? I already showed you the bangle with flowers. Here's another hoop with some yellow dried flowers. We love making hoops, so we've got a lot of these. This is a multicolored hoop. Here's just a little charm using some dried flowers. Oh, this one's cool. So this is a pair of earrings where we took a sunflower type flower and just put half of it on one earring, oops, and half of it in another earring. I love this one. The simplicity of this, and you can sell this if there's anybody that makes jewelry for resale, you can sell this in a boutique. It looks very, very upscale. Here's another flower hoop.
Stephanie, if there isn't a little peg in the mold for the hole, do you have a hand drill there that you can show how you make?
We do.
Great.
We do, yes. So we wanted to be, when we were developing these molds, we wanted to make sure that if you needed a hole in the piece, that the hole would already be there for you. But if it's not, or if it's not in the place where you want it to be, this is also sold in the store. It's just a little hand drill. And I'm going to show you how. I'm going to kind of destroy this thing here, but see, this already has a hole right there that came out of the mold. But let's say I wanted it I wanted to add holes on either side to turn it into more of a bracelet type thing. I just place the tip of the drill where I want to create it, and the back of the drill it's a hand drill and it spins around like this. So when I place it exactly where I want, I apply pressure and just keep twisting. You can already see the little flakes that are coming off as it twists through and creates a hole. The hole that this creates is just shy of 2 mm. So it's the perfect size for adding a jump ring, adding some cording. It will allow you to connect these pieces in lots of different ways and connect them to each other in lots of different ways. All right, so I'm just going to keep going until I pop through the back. Oh, there it goes. There it goes. So get rid of all this. You can see I've made, it's very hard to see that hole, but I've made a hole and it's right here. I just stuck a toothpick through it. Okay. All right. Any other questions while we continue to do some show and tell? These are all pieces made with bezels. So that's the metal frame that you see.
So we've gotten a few questions on polishing. Is there a need to polish? What if it looks like it might need some polishing?
If it doesn't quite have that shiny finish that you want, what I found is the best way to fix that is, and the easiest way, is just by applying a very thin coat of resin on top of it and curing it again. I saw that to be the case with this stud. You can see it's just a little dull. So what I would do is I would put a tiny little dot of resin here. And with a paintbrush, an old paintbrush, you do not want to use a new paintbrush for this, or even just with a toothpick. Here I have an old paintbrush. Just brush it over the top. And of course you will take your time to get this perfectly coated, but you can already see what a difference adding that coat makes. It's a perfect gloss coat for if you do any polymer clay. This is how you can add a protective and shiny coat on a lot of the crafts that you make. And so I just take my lamp and cure that on there. You can polish it using a very, very extra super fine grit sandpaper, but that's too much work. It's much easier just to coat a little bit on there and re-cure it. So I want to show you a before and after. Let's see, this is the dull, how dull it looks. And just by adding a coat of clear resin on top, you can see what a difference you can make in the shininess. Great question. Thank you for asking that. Question from Karen, does it yellow after time? You know, to be honest with you, all resins do yellow to a certain extent, but ours is yellowing resistant. So it will resist doing that for a very long time. We have a sample, a test that we did here. We made a piece of jewelry. We put it in our windowsill where it has lived for 1.5 years. And after 1.5 years in direct sunlight, in the California sun, every single day, we have seen some yellowing, but those are under the most extreme conditions and for a very long time. Okay, so here's I just want to pop this out. It's very satisfying to pop these out of molds. But you can see how that little peg came out of there and created the hole in the middle. I love doing ombre glitter like this. You have so many possibilities of combining colors, and I love the way that looks. Okay, we're going to be wrapping it up now. So I will end with thank you for attending, and end with my call to post your creations. When you post with this hashtag, I check it. I love to see what you're making. Do connect with me on Instagram. I love chatting with creative people, and I'm happy to help you if you have any questions for me. Okay, well, thank you so much. We do these classes every 2 weeks. Find us, sign up, come back. Thanks a lot, everyone.